All right, you read that right. Cathy Zielske actually told me to knock it off. But not in the way that you think, in a very nice way actually. She is so clever and crafty. She thought it would be super fun for us to send one another cards. And what we're going to do is we are going to open them up right on camera, and we are going to try to be inspired by one another's cards. So by Knock It Off, we are going to open these cards that we have made for one another, and then we are going to see where our inspiration takes us. We're going to use the card as inspiration and essentially knock it off. Okay, so she went ahead and sent me 2 cards, and I have a card sent to her, and she's going to be opening up that on her channel, and then she's going to do the same thing. She's going to be inspired by my card and spin it in another direction. So I have not seen either one of these cards. I'm going to open them up and see where inspiration takes me. So let's go ahead and do this first. Now she said that I can be inspired in any way. I'm simply going to look at the card and let it inspire me. Oh my goodness, I remember seeing this card on her channel. This is gorgeous. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? I love it. I love the colors. She's so thoughtful with those color choices too. Okay, so we have a beautiful, beautiful, and look at the foil. My goodness. I love that. Okay, and then let's open up this as well and see what we have here. Ready? Beautiful. Oh my goodness. Oh, look at that sequins. Oh my goodness. How am I going to choose? They're just so beautiful. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I need to choose a card. That is first and foremost. And then I am going to see how I'm going to take it in my own direction. I can either choose the same color palette, I could choose the same theme. I can be inspired in any way that I wish. I just need to put my own spin on it. Okay, so I am intrigued by both cards, but my eye is drawn to this, and I think it's because whenever I think to do color combinations, I tend to stick to, and you probably know this by just the consistency I have on my channel, but I usually stick to the warmer tones of the rainbows. So I usually stick to the pink, orange, and yellow portion of the rainbow. And I love how this is the cooler side of the rainbow with the beautiful greens, blues, and purples. And I just really think that that is really, really fun for winter. So I actually have a winter card that I need to do. And I thought it would be really fun to actually use this color palette as inspiration for the backdrop of my winter card. So let's go ahead and set these to the side. I am going to keep this right by me off camera, but first let me go ahead and see about selecting some ink colors. Now, I haven't seen her create this. After I'm done making mine, I'm going to go back and watch her video to see what colors she chose. But it looks like watercolor. I think it looks like watercolor. That's so pretty. Okay, what I'm going to do is I am going to go ahead and start selecting some colors to see if I can color match this because it's just gorgeous. Okay, I went ahead and pulled some colors that I am inspired with based off the colors that I am visually pulling from this card. So I went ahead and pulled Sprout, Tide Pool, Powder, and Lilac, and hopefully those work out. So what I'll do is I'm gonna move these to the side. I'm gonna keep this right up in the corner as inspiration. And what I'm going to do is grab my own A2 size panel and begin creating. I think what I will do is do some ink blending. Okay, so here is my panel, and what I think I will do is I'm going to tape it down, but then I think I'm going to do some masking so that I can kind of just focus right in the center here. So I feel like this is something that I have been doing quite a few times on my channel, and I'm really just kind of digging how it turns out. And so you're probably gonna see this and think, Bethany, you've done this a time or two, but you know what, when you find a method or a technique that you really like, then just go ahead and keep doing it. Put your own spin on it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the same technique that I've done, I think probably This is the third time I've done it just this season, but I'm going to use different ink colors and I'm going to use a different stamp set on top of that. So I think that it's going to be really fun because every time that I take a different spin on it and use a different color palette, it looks completely different and it's inspiring in a new way. So don't be afraid to do that. And you know what? I think Cathy actually even taught me that on her channel a time or two. She's taught me so many things, but one thing that she has really taught me is that, you know, if you enjoy doing something and you enjoy a certain technique or, you know, prefer to do one thing over another, just do it, right? Just have fun with it. Okay, so I think specifically, I want to say, I think it was her. I think she was specifically kind of talking about, you know, ink palettes or color palettes. If you find a color palette that you like, then just go for it. All right, so I am just masking off about 1 inch with this Post-it tape. There we go. And then I'm going to focus my ink blending right in the center here. Isn't that neat? So I have my brushes here. And let's go ahead and, whoops, I'm going to start with the sprout color. So let's pull these to the side. I think I'm going to do something like this in terms of order. And what I'll do is grab this brush. Now I don't know what I had last on here, so let me clean this off. So I'm just going to clean this brush off. Most likely I probably did have sprout on here, but just so that I am sure, make sure it's nice and clean. Okay, so here we go with sprout. And this doesn't have to be a perfect match to hers, but I'm definitely inspired by the color combination. So I'm going to try to knock that off the best that I can. Okay, so I'm bringing in, ooh, that sprout, super pretty. Okay. Now what I'll do is I'm just going to keep my brushes handy, right? But I'm going to clean off my next brush and I'm going to bring in Tide Pool. So let's bring that color in. Ooh, too many inks, not enough space. And I'm going to tap that off. I want to go pretty light here. Okay, and then I'm going to bring that next color right next to that sprout color. I feel like I'm really confident with the warmer side of the rainbow, so this is actually a really good challenge for me because these are colors that I tend to, I guess, not work with as much. And I need to be inspired with some additional colors. Okay, so there is Tide Pool. And then I'm going to bring the sprout brush back in and just kind of play with the transition there. Okay, ooh, pretty. And not bringing any more ink in, just blending those two together. Ooh, I like that. Okay, let's do, I think I can probably put sprout away. I'll keep Tide Pool out. Make sure I do not get that dirty at all. It's a keepsake for me now. Okay, and then I'll bring sprout in. So let me grab my blue brush. Okay, and I'm not sure if she pulled a blue, but she's definitely having a little bit of blue in there. So I want to see if I can do that. And I don't really want to go from Tide Pool to lilac because I think that might be too big of a jump. So let's do, let's see, this is powder. Very pretty. Okay, and then I'll bring my, oh no, I'm going to bring this brush back in and focus on that transition. Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot. Okay, so there is powder. Now I think I'm done with Tide Pool. I'm always just keeping the last color that I use out. And that way I can, you know, aid that transition with that last color. But really I'm only kind of using the ink that's left on the brush, so probably don't need to keep my inks out, but might as well. Okay, the last color that I'm using is this lilac color. So pretty. And I think if I remember correctly, this comes in pretty light. So and I love the idea of doing a nice cool palette for a winter card because it is a cooler time of the year. Most definitely. Ooh, I like it. Thank you, Cathy. This is really fun. So this is going to be a new little series that she's going to do and invite some fun little crafters to come join. And they're going to inspire her. She's going to inspire them. And isn't that such a fun idea? She always has the funnest ideas. Okay, I love this. Let me bring back in my previous color. Again, no need to bring in any more color on the brush. I'm going to deepen this side just a little bit. So now is the time when I'm just going to make sure that all of my little transitions look great, which I think I like how everything looks. I can even bring the purple up into this blue a little bit, but I think that looks really nice. Okay, so one thing I've learned about ink blending is that it's one thing that you can really overthink, and it's because you're staring at it so much. So sometimes you just need to stop and then peel the tape off or peel your stencil off or whatever you're doing in terms of technique, because once everything's peeled off and the ink smooths out, you tend to realize that you actually did a pretty okay job. All right, so let me clean up here and then I'm going to peel. No, I'm going to peel right now because I'm impatient and I just have to see. So look at that. Isn't that pretty? There's that side. And then we have right here. And finally, right up here. I love it. Isn't that pretty? Very pretty. And again, colors that I don't tend to use. So I'm excited because this is going to be a little different for me, but it's still going to have my style and take on this palette. Okay, I'm just removing the tape. And now what I'm going to do is I'll set this to the side. Oh, that's so pretty. How do you think I did on the colors there? I think I did a pretty fair job. Okay, and again, it doesn't need to be exact or anything. It just needs to be inspired by. So the next thing I want to do is I'm going to let this set for a moment, but I'm going to bring in a winter stamp set. And we're going to get inspired with creating a little snowman scene, which I think will be really cute. Okay, so I have this really cute stamp set. I haven't used this yet. And I think I'm going to do these two little snowmen. Aren't they adorable? And I think I'll do some coloring, which I think will be very pretty. So let's go ahead and let's stamp these out. Let's put these to the side and grab the Misti. I have my mini Misti and I have a piece of 80-pound cardstock. I'm also going to select the two stamps that I want to use. And, oh, there's nothing like peeling that liner off for the first time. Okay, so we have this cutie pie. We also have this cutie pie. There we go. And everything that I am going to use to bring my card together will be linked down below in the description box. That way you'll have an entire source list. Okay, these are new to me stamps, brand new. So let me condition them really quickly. That way we get a good first stamp. And because I'm going to use my Copics after stamping, what I will do is I will use an alcohol-friendly ink. Okay, so let me bring my ink right on in. How cute are these snowmen? Oh my goodness. They're adorable. All right, let's stamp them down. I can already tell that that's going to be a really, really nice first impression. Oh, wow. Okay, I am going to, I think that stayed right there. I'm going to double stamp it, but it just barely needs it. I just want a tad bit more contrast, but that first stamp was beautiful. There we go. Okay, so let this set. Oh, how cute are they? I also have the coordinating die set for this, so we'll use that in a little bit. But let me clean my stamps off while this sets up, and then I will start pulling some color for Copics. And again, I will stay with this beautiful color palette that Cathy Zielske inspired me with. Okay, I have some colors. I'm not using all of these, but I had them pulled for another project that I just finished a little while ago that you'll probably see a little bit later. I don't know if that video's come out yet, but I grabbed a couple additional colors. I have these pulled because they are some of my favorites to work with, so I'm going to pick and choose. I'm only going to bring in a pink, let's see, probably R20 for the cheeks. Obviously this BG11, and I'll list all of the colors that I end up using. I want to use, not that, I want to use E31 for their little stick arms, and that might be it from this collection. Let me also pull, let's pull a nice green. Okay, G20 also, actually I'm gonna do this YR21 for the nose, and then this C00 for the actual body. That way we have something to kind of shade the white with. Okay, so again, I'll link all of those colors below, but I think we're off to a pretty good start. Okay, how do I want to begin? Let's try selecting one more for the purple. Okay, might need it, might not. Okay, let's start easy and do a nose. We know that this is gonna work. I don't know what I wanna do for color combinations on their cute little scarves, so let's start easy. We have R21. It's actually labeled a cream, but I really like this as more of a orange color. Okay, and this is such a tiny area that I'm not going to stress about shading. I will probably come back and add some more shading, but I'm going to let this initial color just set for a moment. Okay, so we'll come back to this. Let's do our cute little stick arms. This is E31, and this is just a very tiny little area. Okay, so we'll do all of these little areas. You can barely see that tiny spot. Okay, and then this one. All right, now let's let that set. I'm going to come back in with this kind of orange, and I'm just going to add some more, a little bit towards the base of the nose there, and on this one, the tip of the nose, just to give a little bit of shadowing. Very, very slight. Okay, so there's that. I'm going to end up setting the markers away as I am done with them. That way I know I used them. Add a little bit more color here at the base, just to give a little bit more shadowing. And I like to wait just a little bit just so that the color doesn't completely sink into the background color. And I do this more when I am just using one color to do all the shading. When doing two colors with shading, I tend to go back to back, but if it's just one, then I like to give it a little time in between. Okay, I think I'm going to bring in this BG11, and I will do just a very nice little stripe on this hat. I'm going to go in with some all over color, just doing a little AB pattern here, and then I will come back and add, I might add the BG32. Actually, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of do a test up here. I'll let that set, and then I'll see about bringing in the BG32. Okay, let's do this one. I probably will also have the little pom-pom of the hat be that same color. Okay, I'll leave that out. Let me see. This is quite a jump, but it might be, I don't know, that might be a little much for me. I think I'm going to use the same color to do my shading because I like my shading just to be very gentle. So just like that. That looks great. Let me bring in that color. See, it's just slight. There. Okay. And then I'm going to just do kind of the sides here. And you can always come back in and add more if you'd like. I think that that looks really good. And then for this, I'm just going to kind of add at the bottom. Okay, just to give a little bit of depth there. Okay, now because I don't know that I want to do I want to do more than one color there? I could do the G20 right next to it. That could be kind of cute. Yeah, why don't I do that? Just because I'm gonna have the snowman so white that I feel like I kind of wanted to do a white and kind of teal scarf, but since the rest of him is going to be so white, I feel like we need a little bit of color here. Okay, this is such a nice, soft green. It's called wax white, actually. I kind of think it's very celery looking. It's just very pretty. Okay, and it's very mild. So I might even, that is beautiful. I might even come back and add one more layer just to kind of deepen that all over color. I'm going to let that set, and then I'll come back and add my shadow. Ooh, I think that's really nice. What a cute little set here. Okay, should I add, if I don't add color there, it's going to look like he has just a headband and then his bald snowman head. So we have to add some color here. So let's just go ahead and add the color right up here. Okay, there we go. I think that looks good. So because I'm going to keep my snowman white, I will just add a little bit of this COO. You might not even see it really pick up on camera really, but it just adds a little bit of shading so that it's not so stark white. So I'm going to go down the left side and probably down kind of the bottom as well. Okay, and just adds a little something. All right, now I think the green has probably dried enough that I can come back in and add my shadowing. So again, just like with my blue or teal, I'm just going to add it at the bottom. Just a little bit. And you can bring in multiple colors. When I have tiny little areas like this, I like to just grab one marker and do all of it at once. Okay, that looks pretty. And then I'll just do that again at the bottom of this hat. Okay, I think that looks good. I'm gonna let that set and we'll see how we like how that looks in just a little bit. Okay, so now I want to bring in the purple, and I have this is so light. This is V000, and oh, that's pretty, but this V12 I think will be a little bit closer. It's almost looking a tad pink, but I think it actually will dry and look a little bit closer to this. So I think I am going to actually just run with it. And I think I will use the celery as well. Not celery. It's celery in my book. Okay, G20 which, oh gosh, it's so light it doesn't even want to focus. That wax white. Okay, I think I will use that as another color for this little outfit. Okay, so let's do, I'm going to start with my darker purple. And I'm going to do, oh gosh, hold on. Let's do the base of this little polka dot portion of the hat. Just like that. I think that looks good. Okay, and then I'll bring in my V000. Let's put this over here so it's a little bit more helpful. And let me kind of pull out some color. Just like that. Oh, I like it. And then go light towards the top. There we go. Okay, that's pretty. And what I'll do is I'm going to let this kind of set before I add my green color because I don't want the colors to kind of bleed into one another. So I'm going to go through and do all of my little scarf lines here. Okay, adding that deeper purple at the bottom. Pretty. And then coming back through with my lighter to kind of smooth that and blend it out. Okay, that looks really good. There's one that kind of lost its shadow, so I'm just going to deepen that. But other than that, I think that looks really good. Okay, so let's do, I'm going to let that kind of set before I add some additional color. I think I can actually come back up though into the hat. And let's add this little green on the pom-pom. Let it set and I'll add this shadow. Oh, that's a cute little outfit. Kind of want this little scarf set. And then I'll add that as well right down here. Okay, very nice. Let that set and do my shading on the cute little snow girl, boy. Okay, I let that set while I add my very subtle shading right there. Okay, and I did some on the face. See how when that mellows out, you can barely see it, but it's enough to where it just doesn't look so blaringly white. Woo. Okay, now I'll bring in this color once more, add some more at the base. I don't really even know how I would add more here, maybe just to the side. Okay, that should probably be just about good. Maybe I'll add a little bit here too. All right. Now I might turn my paper a little bit and then work on the scarf part. Okay. Loving this cooler color palette. It's so chilly and cool, right? Okay. So let's add some cheeks. And I want to be careful here. I might just add one cheek actually to each one because the way they're kind of facing, I don't know, it kind of looks like they're looking towards each other and that you would only kind of see one cheek. So I'm just going to add one on each side, or one on each one, but on each side, just like that. Okay, so there is my final coloring. I think they're really cute. So I'll add the coordinating dies and let's go ahead and cut these little cuties out. I think I'm going to use my tiny little die cut machine. So I'm going to trim these into separate little pieces and then add my little dies. Okay, so let's do some cutting. And going to add my little pieces here. I think I can do both at once. Yes, I can. And there we go. Let's run these through and get them all trimmed out. Okay. Oh, I feel like this is one of my favorite parts each and every time, is seeing how cute they look once they're trimmed out. Very cute. Let's see if we did a good job on this one as well. Oh, very good. Okay, these look adorable. How fun. So now what I want to do is I want to get an idea for what I will do for a sentiment before I go any further. Oh goodness. This is so cute. Okay, I really love this. I'm so inspired now. I'm really inspired to continue with this kind of cooler side of the rainbow. Oh my goodness, I love it. So should I was thinking, which one was it? Sending a warm and cozy hug. I think that's really cute. I also really liked Love You So Much. Oh, I wonder if I could kind of bring these down and then do Love You So Much, maybe nestled right here. Oh, that would be kind of cute. We also have a very simple Happy Winter. Now they're clinging. They're clinging. Okay, let's do, gosh, decisions, choices. I kind of like the Love You So Much. Now I need to decide, do I want to just stamp it in black? Do I want to do heat embossing in white? She has silver here, which is gorgeous. Definitely better for the cooler side. Did you know I don't have silver embossing powder? I don't. I only have gold and white and black. I kind of want to see, what if I stamp on acetate and just test it? I can just grab this acetate sheet too. Because I just want to see what black would look like. So let's bring the Misti back in, and that way we can test it. I don't want to have any regrets. And I'm done with this so I can get some more space. So if I did something like, now I want to line this up really well, because if it ends up lining up how I'd like it, or stamping out how I'd like it, butterfingers, then I can just leave it right in place and stamp again onto the actual card project. I think that looks pretty good. I'll try that. Okay, so let's try black. I kind of think I'm gonna like the black because we already have the black with the ink, so I think that it would kind of tie that back in. I actually just have a little bit of packaging that I'm going to use, and that'll be just fine. It has a little sticky on it too, so I can just set that down. Okay, let's just test. Let's get this all nice and conditioned. Again, new to me. Grab the same ink as last time. Again, I just put a little layer right over there, so we're not actually doing the card. We'll do that. Okay, so that's just kind of giving us an idea. Then, of course, we would have these two, something like that. I actually don't mind it. I think I'm going to go for it. So I won't tell you how long I sat there staring at it. That'll be between me and my Misti, but I think I'll go for it. So now I like the positioning. I think it looks nice and straight. So come here. Let's move these off. And I can just very gently take this off and leave my stamp right into position. Okay, put that there. that down. Oh, that looks really nice. And it's so delicate and tiny that I am just not using a lot of pressure on that door there. So just ever so slightly, because I don't want it to smush and kind of get too bold. That looks really good. Okay, so let's clean this off. I'm going to take 1/4 of an inch off of each side, and that's going to give me a final card size of 3 3/4 by 5 inches. And I guess I said card size, but I really meant panel size. So again, just going all the way around, doing 1/4 of an inch. There. Okay, so this is going to be my final little panel size. Isn't that cute? Okay, and here is my score buddy. I am going to use a 110-pound piece of cardstock that's sized at 11 by 4 1/4, and I'll score it at 5 1/2, and that will give me a top folding card. And this is an A2 size card, so we have final dimensions of 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Okay, let's open this card up. I have some new foam tape. I'm going to attach my card base right to my mat there, and let's flip this over and add some foam tape to the back. I've actually had this foam tape for quite a few months, probably 6 months or so, but I was waiting for my other roll. Oops, I need to clean my scissors. I was waiting for my other roll to be all done. Now you might see my other roll in upcoming videos because I am filming just a tad out of order. Just a tad out of order these days. All right, whoop, this way. Place that right down onto my card base, just like that. That's nice. Okay, and then I think I will add some foam tape behind these little cuties just to give them a little bit of a boost. I do like how thin this is. I'm used to working with much thicker foam tape, and I am really liking how thin this is. It just gives just enough. Oops, it's a little too much, but I'll end up using that little piece. So we just need a tad bit of dimension there. Oh, perfect. Okay, so there is what they would kind of look like, and I am going to really kind of have them, whoops. Oh, this got a little bent. Okay, I'm going to just have them really hug that sentiment there. So I'm going to start with this one right here. Do something like that. And I like how they run off of that ink blended background and then interact with the margin area that we had masked off. And then finally, this one. Okay. Oh, very cute. I think there. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is bring in some sequins. That way I can kind of heal the eye down here just a little bit and add a little bit of shine. So it's going to kind of do 2 things at once. I might do a dewdrop here because I really like how this kind of is very icicle-like. I think it will do well with the whole tone of this card. Okay, I really like this, and I'll tell you why. Because my snowmen are a little bit up in the scene here, which is where I wanted them, but by bringing this down a little bit, then we are giving some equal spacing, and it's just kind of balancing it out just a tad more. So I'm going to grab my glue, and I'm going to make that a final choice and place these little dewdrops down. And our final little drop there. Oh, I think it's so cute. Oh my goodness, I'm really happy with that. All right, I have never been so happy to have Cathy Zielske tell me to knock it off. That was so fun. I am super inspired. I love this idea, and I love the idea of just being inspired by either a color palette or how something is laid out on a card, or I mean, you can be inspired with so many things when you look at the work of others. And I also really appreciate the fact that this really helped kind of get me out of my comfort zone a little bit, because again, the palette is something that I don't tend to go to very much. But now, after looking at this card, I am absolutely going to remember the ink choices and the Copic selections that I did, because I want to recreate this once again. So it's very super fun. Now I'm gonna, in the description box below this video, place a link to her video where she's going to open up the card that I sent her, and she is going to be inspired by what she sees inside of my envelope. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. This was so fun. I hope she asks me to do this again. This was just a very refreshing little project, and I'm very happy with how it turned out. All right, be sure to check out her video. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up as well as hers. That way we know that you enjoyed watching, and I can't wait to continue crafting with you soon. And if you're just joining me from Cathy Zielske's channel, welcome. I am so happy to have you. See you soon.